Hey there, it's Paul Mark, live on location from Ethiopia. My last podcast, I said that I would shoot one from the hip here in Africa, and so here I am. We've been up traveling around, visiting different co-ops for the last 3 days. 3 days this is our third day, traveling around, visiting co-ops, cupping. We've had two trucks or two vans where about 14 of us have been traveling together. And we've had mobile cupping units and roasting units. So basically, Starbucks actually donated two full kits that contained a Genie Cafe roaster and an inverter. And so we've been running power off the battery of one of the vans and roasting coffee right at the co-ops. And so it's been kind of a cool experience that way. What's been a lot of fun in regards to doing that is the farmers, obviously it's a pretty unique experience for the farmers and the cooperatives to have a bunch of white folk from, we've got mostly Americans here, but there's me, the lone Canadian. We've got Joe Shu from Taiwan. There's a couple of people here from Greece, from Taft Coffee. We've got Dominic from Germany. So there's an international crowd, albeit mostly American. So a bunch of white folks show up, which is a spectacle in and of itself. And then we set up our lab and we start roasting. And of course, for the locals, that's an amazing thing to see because they don't often get to see their coffee actually get roasted. And so we're roasting it right there. We grind it. We lay out the cupping tables, and we cup the coffee. And so we've cupped, I think, in total now over the last 3 days. We're just getting ready to set up our last cupping. We have 5 more coffees to cup. I think when we're done, we will have cupped about 27 coffees or something like that, 27, 28 coffees from, I don't know, about well, all different co-ops actually. So some from Yirgacheffe, some from Sidamo. So it's been a fun trip. It's been exhausting. Ethiopia's a big country. We do a lot of driving on really poor roads, banging and bouncing around. We have really long days, but on the whole, this has been an amazing trip for me because I've gotten to see, obviously, Ethiopia, which I've never seen before. We haven't actually seen a lot of coffee in terms of what I'm used to when I go to Central America. We go into a plantation and we see all the coffee trees spread out. We haven't really seen that much here because the way they do coffee in Africa is quite a bit different. Almost all the coffee is grown by smallholders, people that own a really small piece of land, a hectare or a little bit more, and the coffee is integrated into their farms. It's not large scale even by Panama standards, let alone Brazil. They grow a lot of coffee here, but it's not done the same way. And so it's been interesting driving around and not really seeing much coffee from the road. But it's been a lot of fun getting a chance to understand more the dynamics involved in the coffee trade in Ethiopia. We've had opportunity to talk with the cooperatives and explain to them how we, number one, cup and how we evaluate those coffees. We give them scores, we give them feedback after we're done. But we've also at times given ourselves an opportunity to let them ask us questions. We've asked them questions. One of the main things that obviously comes up all the time with each cooperative is we want more money for our coffee. We want more money for the cherries that we pick. How can we get more money from you? And that's a fair question. As we drive around, you know, it's clear that Ethiopia is not a wealthy country. I'm impressed actually by the level of cleanliness. You see the farms, even the very small farms, are very neat and organized and tidy, and you can tell that the farmers take immense pride in their coffee and in their farms. There's people everywhere. It's like you can't get away from people here. You drive through town. We just drove through a market on our way up to this Pharaoh cooperative, and people are just everywhere. It's crazy. So it's a pretty amazing place, and the amount of people in Africa is staggering. So, anyways, one of the things that we've been really trying to communicate, I think, for the most part, in terms of more money to farmers in Ethiopia, is more money comes with a direct correlation to quality. And so that's one of the things that we've been trying to stress and emphasize with most of the cooperatives is we are happy, most of us at least I think anyways on this trip, are happy to be paying more for coffee, but that price has to be directly correlated to an increase in quality. And so it's that message that's difficult to sort of communicate because some of the cooperatives have complained about their equipment not working properly, and therefore, you know, they're not getting the green coffee sorted out from the red cherries, and you know, their immediate response is, we need the machine fixed, we need to understand how to work the machine better, rather than focus on only picking ripe cherry and ensuring that the quality of the harvest is the priority. Therefore, you know, that's a direct correlation to the quality in the cup. And so it's a learning experience on both sides, and I think that's the fun of this trip is number one, we've been able to you know, spend time with a bunch of really great people on this caravan, and learn a lot from each other. There's been great discussions, great conversations, and we've learned a lot, I think, from all the cooperatives as well. So it's been a really good trip that way. I'm going to come home, number one, exhausted, but I think obviously more important than that, I'm going to come home a bit, in all honesty, a bit overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with Africa. It's hard to take in. It's hard to take in not only the breadth, but the people. All the people. The people are beautiful and excited. Everywhere we go, the kids just run up to the vans and they're yelling you, and they want, you know, they're asking for, you know, a donation here or there, but they're just, at the end of the day, they're just curious because there's two vans full of white people driving around Africa. But there's just so much going on here, and there's so many dynamics at play in terms of the coffee industry, the specialty coffee industry, and couple that to the first week that we were here, learning about the exchange, learning about the direct specialty trade system that's now part of the exchange, and learning about the trading mechanisms, and meeting with exporters, and understanding more I understand more now in terms of the difficulties and the challenges that face the people that work in specialty coffee in Africa, and specifically, obviously, in Ethiopia. So it's been a really great trip. I don't regret for a second coming here. But there's a lot to process, and I think it's going to take me probably a couple of months of just thinking and reflecting, and maybe writing a bit more, and trying to understand, you know, how Transcend, and not just Transcend, how the specialty coffee industry and those of us in North America and in Europe who are committed to finding the best quality coffee that we can, how we participate and how we build relationships in this country, and how we work in meaningful ways that not only benefit us as roasters, but also benefit the people that are growing the coffee. And we can, that's the real challenge, I think, is understanding how to build those relationships on a long-term basis, so that there's positive growth here, and obviously at the end of the day there's a positive thing at home where we get to find and sell and promote some of the best coffee in the world. And obviously that's here. We've tasted it. What's been really exciting for me is, as we've gone out to these cooperatives, we've tasted some really great coffee. Solid coffees. Some of the, in all honesty, some of the best coffees I've cupped this year have been here in Ethiopia, and it's early. Obviously, I haven't gotten to go to anywhere else yet. Haven't been to Costa Rica or any of the usual haunts that I like to visit in the springtime. But my friend Ryan Brown from Ritual Coffee, who's actually standing there holding the timer right now, he's been doing a lot more traveling than I have, and what's exciting for me is to hear him talk about the quality and the coffee that's out there. So it's going to be a great year for coffee. I think it's going to be an exciting time, and I think there's a lot of promise, and there's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of opportunity in Ethiopia, and so it's been a great opportunity and a great door that's opened, at least in my world. So that's it for me, signing out from Ethiopia, from the Pharaoh Cooperative, just outside of Yirgacheffe in Ethiopia. We're heading back to Addis tomorrow, about a 6-hour drive back to the big city, and then I'll be shortly getting on a plane and flying back home. So hopefully this video beats me home. I'm going to try to upload it tomorrow when I get back to Addis, and James can do his magic, and hopefully it's on the net before I get back home. So until next time, drink less more often. See ya.